set up your next page. Okay, you should be finishing up what I read, setting up your page. Go ahead and put your date. Draw your line so that we're set. So yesterday we started reading Sahara Special, and I got to read your first thoughts about Sahara. I gave you guys a couple questions, so I want you to think of those as we're reading today. Let's go over a couple of words that we have today. This is a word that we went over yesterday, and I actually want you to write this word out again on 3 lines, pretty big. This word is counselor. Now, I highlighted the OR because this is a suffix that we've gone over, and the OR means what? We see OR or ER on the end of it, a word, it means what? A person who does that thing. And so in this case, it would be a person who gives advice, because we know counsel means advice. That's really good. Counsel advice. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to jot down as many words as you know really quickly beneath counselor that end in OR. See how many you can come up with really quickly. Go ahead. Give you about 10 seconds. Okay. Let's see which words you guys came up with that end in OR, but they have to have the same meaning. A person who. Because I saw somebody write a second ago the word color, and I think this is a really valuable lesson for us really quickly. Color. Color. Is color, that OR, does it mean the same as counselor?
No.
Why not? Go ahead.
Because it's not the definition. It's not the same definition of counselor.
Well, explain what that means. I don't
Because
quite get it yet.
Counselor is the means to give advice, and color is just a regular color.
But the OR on the end is what I'm asking about right now, Isaiah. Deasia.
Counselor is a person who works, and color doesn't have to do with a person.
It doesn't have to do with a person, that's all it is. So this isn't a rule that's always going to apply. When you see OR, it doesn't always mean a person who, but in this case it means counselor. Any other jobs that end in OR we can think of? Our brain's a little jogged this morning. Any? Let me give you one. Doctor. Jot out doctor. What about any ER words? We went over some of those.
Lawyer.
A lawyer, yes. And sometimes I get confused, and I can't always remember whether it's an ER and OR. But as long as you know that the ER, the OR on the end means a person who. Any other ones?
Singer.
Singer, teacher, all of those. So we kind of just got stumped on the OR. Okay, good. Let's go over the words that we're going to have for today. We'll come back to this word. This word is repercussions. Everyone say repercussions.
Repercussions.
It just means consequences. The repercussions. What's going to happen because I did something. Next word is lunatic. Everyone say lunatic.
Lunatic.
You see I drew somebody with cross eyes. Somebody that's a little crazy on the street, maybe. Somebody's going to be described as a lunatic, and we'll debate whether or not they really are or go off. The next thing, someone's going to get kicked in this place, in our story. He's going to get kicked or wants to get kicked in the shins. Everyone say shins.
Shins.
Shins, that's the area from your knees to your feet, like that bone. Feel in front of your leg right now, from your knee. Do you feel that bone right there? When we went to Alice in Wonderland, I slipped on my seat and I hit the seat with my shins, and now I have a big bump on it. It actually still hurts. And our last word is archaeological. Everyone say archaeological.
Archaeological.
Pretty big one. Is this a word you guys have covered in social studies? Anything? Archaeological?
Yes.
Okay, what do you might know about this or anything about it? Jog your memories. Go ahead, Isaiah.
They find Rome.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. Like finding old historical items, whether it's bones or whether it's like temples or artifacts or different things. So it has to do with historical things that are found. Let's go ahead and open up our book to page 6. We're going to come across all 4 of these words today, including counselor, so I guess that makes 5. And today we're going to try to make some inferences. I want you to take 2 seconds to think what an inference is. We've talked about this in class. Inferences are what? How would you define inferences? Deasia?
Inferences are things you can't see.
Like what? Explain what you mean can't see. Ghosts? I can't see ghosts. Are ghosts inferences? Okay, then what?
Like you can't see feelings.
You can't see feelings of
Person.
a person or a character. Isaiah, you want to add anything?
Yeah, because she said no.
Okay. The same thing, that's exactly what you're going to say. Anything else, Sahih?
You can't see
No one's?
Thoughts.
Thoughts, exactly. So the character's thoughts and feelings, what we can't see. We're going to make some inferences today. Let's go ahead and mark our page. We're going to start on page 6 where we left off. I'm going to give you guys a second tab so you know, you're welcome, so you know where you're going to read to. You're welcome. You're going to read from page 6 through page 7. Go ahead and turn to page 8. Do you see at the bottom of page 8? Right! Our last word, we're going to end on the word lunatic, which we know is what? Crazy or something very close to that. Go ahead and mark that. That's where we're going to stop today. When you get to this point, I want you to answer this question. What do you think about Daryl, and why do you think that? So how do you feel about Daryl? Because we're going to get introduced to this character, Daryl, today. I want you to think, what do I feel about Daryl based on what I've read today? Okay? Are there any questions about what you're going to read and do? Okay. When you get there, you finish reading and you've written, then tap your light and go on to read. Okay? Start reading, please. Deasia. Would you start reading for me, please? Shrug. Mm-hmm.
She probably wouldn't think it was funny. I've never seen her laugh. She likes something that probably laughs for no reason. Finds organization funny. Peaches seem very organized. I bet nothing fell out of her desk in her whole life.
Can you read that again?
Peaches seem very organized. I bet nothing fell out of her desk in her whole life. Then she'd ask if there was anything I wanted to talk about, and when I wouldn't say no, she wouldn't.
And when I
say-
wouldn't?
And then she'd ask if there was anything I wanted to say, to talk about, and when I would say no, she would smile sweetly and look unhappy at the same time. Sometimes Daryl seeks and would sit because we were happy.
So what's the name? I think you did exactly right. Like, if you don't know the name, just follow through. It's gonna be Daryl Sykes. Sykes. Can you say Sykes? Like Psych.
I think he has been special needs ever since dinosaurs roamed the earth, or at least since the Declaration of Independence was signed.
I really like that you did that. So she said Daryl Sykes has been special needs since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. What is she really saying?
For a long
A
time.
really long time. Nice. Good. You're reading between the lines. Keep going.
He nicked a teacher. Kicked a teacher in the shins when he was in first grade, and when he was in third grade, he was finally tall enough to punch one in the nose. At least that's what people say, but who knows what's true?
I'm gonna have you read that again because there's a word in italics that I need you to emphasize at least.
At least that's what people say, but who knows what's true?
Keep going. Good.
Mom says not to judge a book by its cover. Even so, I couldn't help but think if Daryl was a book, that the cover would read true crime stories. Daryl never spoke one word to me and wouldn't look at me